Okay, there we go. All right, this is turkey times 2. So yesterday was Christmas. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Again, this is nothing fancy, but what I'm doing right here is taking our extra meat from yesterday. We had a nice large turkey and we had a lot of extra meat, so I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to can it up. So this is cooked turkey that we did in the roaster yesterday, and we had a whole bunch at our Christmas dinner. But now what I'm doing is taking my turkey that I put into the fridge last night and I'm cutting it up, and then I'm going to be placing it in my broth, and Rob will show you where we cooked the turkey bones overnight. That's the carcass. We cooked that overnight in the roaster to get more broth, and now we're going to put this turkey in the bottom of our jars, cover it with our broth, and we're going to have a great soup starter. So I'll be back after I get that closer to showing you what it looks like in the jars. Alrighty, I had my husband running the phone while you saw me cutting up the leftover turkey from yesterday's meal. We took our whole carcass, anything that was left in the roaster after I pulled out some broth for gravy, all the bones, submerged it in water, cooked this overnight. So it's been on about probably 12 hours or so here. So we have this beautiful golden broth. We do strain it through a sieve, and it looks like this. And this is hot, so this is coming out hot. So we just unplugged it, and we're ready to can it up. So it's going to be hot broth. My turkey is going to be cold, but that hot broth is going over top of it. So I'm going to layer it in the jars, and I wanted to show you here what I'm going to do. And again, nothing fancy, so I'm using my own fingers. I think we've all washed enough dishes in the last 2 days, haven't we, that we don't want to wash more dishes. So I'm going to layer about a half a jar of turkey meat. We're going to ladle over top of that the warm broth. All right. And that is going to give us a beautiful jar or meal. We could have some soup and noodles. We could have some gravy made to this and do over some bread. So this turkey, we raised it out in the backyard, and we are going to have many, many, many meals this summer. And that's good. Stop right there, Rob. Off of this turkey. So this 1 quart will make me turkey and gravy. It'll make me a pot of soup. I might add a couple together. I'll have some with meat and some just broth that I could add, one with meat, one without if I wanted something a little soupier. So great way to repurpose and reuse and get lots and lots and lots of meals out of that one Christmas turkey. So here we go. We're going to fill up all these jars the best we can here. Keep straining and putting into here our nice, clear, beautiful broth. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous gold. I think somebody online called it liquid gold. And then we're going to pressure can it. It's going to go in that pressure canner 25 minutes for our quart jars of already cooked, already heated broth. So here we go. I'll be back as we get things finished up. All right, here's my 7 quarts with meat. So that 8-cup container, I divided it up that I had of the chopped up meat into these 7 quarts. Topped it off with that golden broth. Now, what I forgot to mention to you was you always, if you're dealing with a meat or anything with a fat in it, we're going to make sure we wipe these rims really, 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 really well. I can't stress that enough. With white vinegar. So distilled white vinegar, I pour it into here because I keep using a different part of my towel for each rim. So you're not seeing it, but there is vinegar in there. There you can see it a little bit. Okay, so there is white vinegar in there. All right, and that's what I'm using. Don't let your vinegar run down into your broth or anything. It won't hurt, but you don't want to do that. So wring it out. Use your wet part of your paper towel and wipe that rim really, really well. Before you go to the next one, don't wipe with the same spot, because if you wiped off oil off of here, then you're just taking it and smearing it from jar to jar. I re-dip, wring it, and pick a different spot on my paper towel and I go down through. So after these are in the canner, my canner is going to hold 7 of them. Hot canner, hot broth, or warm and warm as we call it. If this would have been all cold, I would have did cold jar, cold water canner, meaning the water it started with would not be steaming like this and would not be pre-warmed. You would have turned the heat up once everything was in the pot. So cold water in the pot if your jars are cold filled. These are hot filled. I told you we just turned the roaster off and unplugged it. It was next to boiling. So hot jar, hot liquid, hot canner, so we don't have that temperature shock. 25 minutes in my pressure canner at 10 pounds of pressure, because that's what our area is here in Pennsylvania. So here we go. I'm going to get these flats on here. I did want to show you, I use different types. It depends what's available in our area. And I have a lot of these full lids, one-piece lids with the rubber seal inside. And I use them interchangeably with the flats. This just happens to be a ball flat. I'm going to buy whatever is on sale. But either way, remember, if you're using any of the new flats, that you want to do everything finger tight. Do not over tighten the rings if you're using the new flats, because they will buckle, and I have a whole video on that. The same thing with these. The only thing with using these is I feel they have to be tightened when these come out of the canner. As soon as I release the pressure, let it go down. Don't release the pressure. Don't get me wrong. I let it cool down, take off the pressure thing. It's all down. Take the lid off, and I have to re-tighten these lids. That's the only thing I find with the one-piece caps is when it comes out of the pressure canner, you want to re-tighten them. And I'll tell you what, I do it with these too, because they go in at a looser ring because of buckling. The metal is so much thinner nowadays. I tend to want to re-tighten those rings when they come out. That's a good hint. You'll see a lot of less false seals and unsealing if you do that. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Okay, nothing fancy. Look here. I'm back, and they are out of the canner. Look at those things bubbling away. We did have one jar that siphoned. We're not real sure why. When we took the lid off, it was kind of spewing up out. So I'm going to keep that a little separate and make sure that it seals, but use it first. So what I'm going to do is go through now with my towel, or here, Rob can do it, towel and washcloth, and put those lids on just a little bit tighter, just to make sure. See, that one twisted pretty far for him, but the jar's spinning in his hand on some of them. So sometimes they do loosen during canning, especially pressure canning. So I find it's hot. You got to use a towel. There you go. Each end of the towel works really good. But anyways, so there we are. We're tightening them down. They're going to sit here 24 hours. This is the batch with the, you never know what might happen here, with the turkey in it. So I'll let you go and get back to doing this so that he doesn't hurt himself. Have a great evening and Merry Christmas.